2% or fewer of the acres that used to be rivercane now exist.
You know, having enough rivercane in the region is going to take such a huge effort. Educating people for its value for wildlife, for its ecological value, for its value in stream banks.
So rivercane is important culturally for native peoples. It's important ecologically for animals and even other plant species that are native to this region. And it's important in a larger societal context in terms of its impact on water quality. Rivercane used to exist as these vast habitats, vast ecosystems called cane breaks that primarily were rivercane and a few other plants, and they were very dense. However, over the last few hundred years, we've seen a decline in that by about 98%. So 2% or fewer of the acres that used to be rivercane now exist. So although the plant itself, rivercane, is relatively common and we see it in lots of disturbed habitats, those ecosystems that used to be dominated by rivercane are very rare. In terms of the ecological or botanical research at this conference, it primarily was focused on how do we grow rivercane. This is a huge problem because where with many species you can just go collect seeds and go plant them and the plants grow. Rivercane, an individual plant of rivercane will only produce seeds once in its life. And it may only do that after the plant has grown for 50, maybe even up to 100 years. So they have very long lifespans, each individual plant does. And so the actual flowering and production of seeds can be very infrequent, can be extremely rare in some areas.
And as the gentleman was saying about rivercane, as one of the livelihoods of our Indian culture, we not only use it for basketry, but also one of the first weapons that was introduced in North America was the blowgun. And the Choctaws had the blowgun, and that's made out of swamp cane as well. And there are other uses as well.
Oh, blowguns, woven mats. You know, they've got some reconstructed houses, and they've used the cane to show how the cane was used in making
Use rivercane in, say, making baskets, flutes, blowguns as part of their cultural identity.
There's a lot of uses for the cane, and we've always had interest in trying to preserve the cane. And I'm glad to hear that the universities, colleges throughout this country have interest in studying the cane, and hopefully will help the natives of this country to preserve and maintain the swamp cane.
Well, I think we're just trying to keep up with our tradition. That way we can pass it on to our kids, grandkids, or whoever wants to learn. That way it'll be, just keep going.
Because we were forced removed, a lot of the techniques, a lot of the uses that we had for rivercane is no longer used today because of the fact that we don't have a lot of rivercane, and that's one reason why we're here. The rivercane is, you know, it's finding it. And so just going along the rivers and streams in our area, and then once we find it, we don't tell anybody about it.
All we do is go, like if we take a trip somewhere and if we see some that's on if it's not on a private land, we can just go out and get some. Nowadays they have posted signs, so we can't go in there, so sometimes it's hard for us to find any.
I found some citations and descriptions that even as far back as the 40s, when the tourist trade was really starting up in Cherokee after the formation of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, that even then they were driving to Kentucky and down into Georgia to get rivercane.
Cane break habitats, because of where they grew immediately adjacent to streams, they were very important in terms of stabilizing stream banks, which helped to reduce erosion, and they also helped to anchor soil that could help to even remove potential pollutants from water as it passed from upland into the aquatic system. While there were people living in this area for thousands of years who depended upon cane, there also are numerous animal species, birds and insects and mammals, that rely on the cane, and they also have lost that habitat. They've lost 98% of their habitat. There have been numerous species that have actually have gone extinct in the southeastern United States because of that.
We're almost seeing, you know, the older basket makers and a skip of a generation, but the kids are really picking it up and running with it. And that's what we like to see.
Some are kind of interested, and like I've seen the other communities, I have nieces and nephews that likes to do baskets.
And we want these kids to grow up knowing their culture, having pride in their culture. That for me, as an anthropologist, as an ethnobotanist, and as a human being, I would say that would be my goal.